Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Ramya with the Midday News. The headlines. India will play an important role in space to unite the world in 21st century, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Launches Indian Space Association. India marches towards 100 crore mark COVID-19 vaccination coverage. Over 95 crore citizens get jabs till date. In Himachal Pradesh, schools reopen from class 8 onwards today. India and Kyrgyz Republic agree on $200 million line of credit to support development projects. First ever talks between the US and Taliban leaders after change in guard in Afghanistan held in Doha. Washington says meeting does not amount to recognition of the Taliban. Today is International Day of the Girl Child. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for equal access to digital devices, tech-related skills and jobs for girls. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore to face Kolkata Knight Riders in Eliminator in Sharjah at 7:30 p.m. today. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said India will have to ensure that in the 21st century, space should play an important role in uniting the world. He said India is one of the very few countries that have end-to-end capability in space. Speaking at the launch of Indian Space Association, Mr. Modi said India has covered all aspects of space technology, space satellites, launch vehicle applications, interplanetary missions and more. The Prime Minister said major reforms happening in India today regarding space sector and space tech are due to a decisive government. He said the reforms in space sector and space tech is unprecedented and the government's approach is based on 4 pillars when it comes to space reforms. He said freedom of innovation to the private sector is the first pillar and the role of the government as an enabler is the second. Preparing youth for the future and looking at space sector as a resource for the progress of the common man are the other 2 pillars.
जब हम स्पेस रिफॉर्म्स की बात करते हैं तो हमारी अप्रोच 4 पिलर्स पर आधारित है. पहला, प्राइवेट सेक्टर को इनोवेशन की आजादी. दूसरा, सरकार की एनेबलर के रूप में भूमिका. तीसरा, भविष्य के लिए युवाओं को तैयार करना. और चौथा, स्पेस सेक्टर को सामान्य मानवी की प्रगति के संसाधन के रूप में देखना. इन 4 पिलर्स की बुनियाद अपने आप में असाधारण संभावनाओं के द्वार खोलती है.
The Prime Minister stressed that this new outlook is important because it is not the time for linear innovation for India, but for exponential innovation. He said this can only be made possible when the government plays the role of an enabler and not a handler.
पहले स्पेस सेक्टर का मतलब ही होता था सरकार, लेकिन हमने पहले इस माइंडसेट को बदला और फिर स्पेस सेक्टर में इनोवेशन किए. सरकार, स्टार्टअप एक दूसरे से सहयोग और स्पेस का मंत्र दिया. ये नई सोच, नया मंत्र इसलिए जरूरी है क्योंकि भारत के लिए अब ये लीनियर इनोवेशन का समय नहीं है. ये समय एक्सपोनेंशियल इनोवेशन का है और ये मुमकिन तब होगा जब सरकार हैंडलर की नहीं, एनेबलर की भूमिका निभाएगी. इसलिए आज डिफेंस से लेकर स्पेस सेक्टर तक सरकार अपने एक्सपर्टाइज को साझा कर रही है. प्राइवेट सेक्टर के लिए लॉन्च पैड उपलब्ध करवा रही है. आज इसरो की फैसिलिटीज को प्राइवेट सेक्टर के लिए ओपन किया जा रहा है.
Mr. Modi said the country is witnessing dynamic reforms today because India's vision is clear and the vision is Atmanirbhar Bharat. He said it is not just a vision but a well-thought, well-planned, integrated economic strategy that will turn India into a global manufacturing hub and innovation center. He added that the strategy will make India a global center of innovations based on India's technological expertise. He said over the years, the government's focus has been on research and development related to new technology as well as to bring it to the general public. In the last 7 years, NDA government has made space technology an important tool for last-mile delivery and transparent governance.
21वीं सदी का भारत आज जिस अप्रोच के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है, जो रिफॉर्म्स कर रहा है, उसका आधार है भारत के सामर्थ्य पर अटूट विश्वास. भारत का सामर्थ्य दुनिया के सभी देश से जरा भी कम नहीं है. इस सामर्थ्य के आगे आने वाली हर रुकावट को दूर करना हमारी सरकार का दायित्व है और इसके लिए सरकार कोई कोर कसर बाकी नहीं छोड़ रही. स्पेस सेक्टर और स्पेस टेक को लेकर आज भारत में जो बड़े रिफॉर्म्स हो रहे हैं, वो इसी की एक कड़ी है.
The Prime Minister said India's space sector is a big medium for the progress of 130 crore people. He pointed out that the space sector means better mapping, imaging and connectivity facilities for the common human. He added that the space sector means better speed from shipment to delivery for entrepreneurs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the 28th National Human Rights Commission NHRC Foundation Day program tomorrow via video conferencing. Home Minister Amit Shah and NHRC chairperson will also be present during the event. NHRC was set up under the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 on 12th of October for the promotion and protection of human rights.
The nation marches ahead towards 100 crore mark of administering vaccination. India has administered over 95 crore 19 lakh doses of COVID vaccine so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Union Health Ministry said more than 46,57,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said 21,563 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours and the national recovery rate has reached 98%. Till now, more than 3 crore 32 lakh people have recovered from COVID-19. Talking to All India Radio, Dr. Sandeep Mishra from AIIMS, New Delhi, said that the milestone of 100 crore vaccination would be a great achievement.
गर्व की बात है कि हम 100 करोड़ के पास पहुंचने ही वाले हैं और विश्व में सारे देश अब हमारे पीछे हो गए हैं और इस समय जो मेरा यही संदेश रहेगा कि हालांकि 100 करोड़ का हम वैक्सीनेशन पहुंच रहे हैं, लेकिन वैक्सीनेशन तभी कंप्लीट माना जाएगा जब दोनों डोजेस मिल जाएंगी. इसलिए हमारे को अभी थोड़ा वेट करना है कि दोनों डोजेस मिल जाए, उसके बाद ही पूरी तरह से वैक्सीनेशन माना जाएगा. नंबर 2, ये भी एक इम्पोर्टेंट बात है कि वैक्सीनेशन से प्रोटेक्शन तो बहुत अच्छा मिलता है, 80 से 90% तक का प्रोटेक्शन मिल सकती है, फिर भी इन्फेक्शन हो सकता है. इसलिए ऐसे समय में जब हमारा वैक्सीनेशन तो काफी अच्छा हो गया है, लेकिन हमारे को सावधानी फिर भी रखनी है.
In Himachal Pradesh, regular classes have started in schools for the students of classes 8 to 12 from today. Class 8 students arrived at the school almost a year and a half after the outbreak of the corona pandemic. There will be no prayer meetings and sports activities. The Education Department of the state has decided not to provide midday meals to the children of class 8. The Department of Elementary Education has issued instructions that children will have to bring their own lunch. The decision has been taken by the Himachal Pradesh government after taking into consideration the COVID-19 situation in the state and the positivity rate.
Union Minister of State, Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, visited All India Radio at Srinagar and inaugurated a renovated auditorium. The auditorium was severely damaged in 2014 floods. Addressing the audience today, the Union Minister said that the auditorium will help both All India Radio and Doordarshan Kendra Srinagar in promoting the local culture. He also lauded AIR and DDK Srinagar for playing their role in countering to propaganda initiated by the neighbouring country from across the border. The minister is also scheduled to visit fish farm at Dachigam Wildlife Sanctuary in the outskirts of Srinagar city this afternoon. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today said development cooperation is gradually emerging as an important pillar of cooperation between India and Kyrgyzstan. Dr. S. Jaishankar in a tweet said that he had a cordial and constructive talks with Foreign Minister Ruslan Kazakbev of Kyrgyz Republic. Dr. Jaishankar said they agreed on $200 million line of credit to support development projects. He also said that they concluded an understanding on executing high-impact community projects. Both the leaders discussed need for early travel of Indian students and more liberal visa regime. He said that they reviewed defense and security cooperation positively. India and Kyrgyz Republic have shared approach to developments in Afghanistan. In a statement at the conclusion of his official visit to Kyrgyz Republic, the External Affairs Minister said India's telemedicine centers have helped Kyrgyz people in rural areas get connected to medical facilities in cities. The provision of Babatron in Bishkek has been useful in diagnosis of cancers not only for residents of Bishkek but across the country. Dr. Jaishankar said India is committed to providing another Babatron for the hospital in Osh. In Uttar Pradesh, Ashish Mishra, the accused in Lakhimpur Kheri violence case and son of Minister of State for Home Affairs Ajay Mishra, will be produced in a local court this afternoon. In the virtual hearing, court will decide on his police custody. Ashish was sent to judicial custody after arrest on Saturday night. Ashish was arrested after more than 12 hours of interrogation by the police on Saturday as he was not cooperating during the interrogation and didn't answer a few questions. Police questioned Ashish about the events that led to the violence on 3rd of October in which 8 people were killed. 2 other accused were arrested by the police in this case and now they are in judicial custody.
In Madhya Pradesh, e-content of 17 main subjects of graduation level is being prepared for the first-year courses under the National Education Policy. State Higher Education Minister Dr. Mohan Yadav has said that Madhya Pradesh will probably be the first state in the country to provide e-content on the basis of National Education Policy 2020. A report.
The state government has already made an action plan to prepare more than 1,000 e-content modules by November 10. The target is to ready e-content of about 1,500 modules for the first year. In the next phase, content on some other subjects will also be prepared. It is noteworthy that this work is being done free of cost by the regular teachers and guest scholars of the government, non-government universities and colleges of the state. E-content is also being prepared for optional subjects along with the main subjects. The contents being prepared will be available for video lectures, e-text and assessment questions as per the UGC guidelines. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India will play an important role in space to unite world in the 21st century, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi, launches Indian Space Association. India marches towards 100 crore mark COVID-19 vaccination coverage. Over 95 crore citizens get jabs till date. In Himachal Pradesh, schools reopen from class 8 onwards today. India and Kyrgyz Republic agree on $200 million line of credit to support development projects. First ever talks between the US and Taliban leaders after change in guard in Afghanistan held in Doha. Washington says meeting does not amount to recognition of the Taliban. Today is International Day of the Girl Child. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for equal access to digital devices, tech-related skills and jobs for girls. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore to face Kolkata Knight Riders in Eliminator in Sharjah at 7:30 p.m. today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे। चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास। तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
Welcome back to the Midday News on All India Radio. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 5 soldiers, including a JCO, have been martyred in an encounter that broke out in Charmer forest area of Surankot in Poonch sector of Jammu division today. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that on specific inputs, the security forces have cordoned off the area and a cordon and search operation was launched for a suspected infiltration bid in the forests located near Mughal Road in Surankot subdivision of Poonch district. The terrorists opened fire on the search parties, resulting in fierce gunfight and critical injuries to a junior commissioned officer and 4 other soldiers who later succumbed to their injuries. 3 to 4 militants were believed to be trapped in the area. Details are awaited. For the first time in India, a liver has been reused and transplanted in a new recipient by doctors of a Delhi hospital. The liver was at first transplanted onto a patient who was declared brain dead few days after the operation. Following this, a decision was taken to reuse the liver in a new recipient in order to save a new life. Talking exclusively to AIR News, Chairman of the Liver Transplant and Biliary Science, Max Healthcare, Dr. Subhash Gupta said the liver is working well in the new recipient.
I'd like to state that this is the first officially reported reuse of a liver which had been transplanted in another recipient who soon after transplantation succumbed to intracranial hemorrhage, and we used special precautions to ensure that this liver would work well in the new recipient, and all consent and legal formalities from the National Organ Transplant Allocation Agency, from the patients and the families were taken, and due care was taken while implanting the new liver, and I'm happy to report that this liver is working well in the new recipient.
The talks between the US and the Taliban leaders have concluded in Doha, Qatar. This is the first ever meeting since the withdrawal of American troops in August from Afghanistan. The talks in Qatar focused on containing the extremist groups, the evacuation of US citizens, and the humanitarian aid. The US officials said that while the group would be judged by its actions, talks had been candid and professional. The US insists the meeting does not amount to recognition of the Taliban. In a statement issued by Taliban last night, it claimed that the US had agreed to begin to provide humanitarian aid to the country. The statement added it will cooperate with charitable groups in delivering the humanitarian assistance to those deserving transparently and will facilitate the principled movement of foreign nationals. The US has not yet formally confirmed this claim. Today is the International Day of Girl Child. On December 2011, the United Nations General Assembly adopted resolution to declare 11th October as the International Day of Girl Child to recognize girls' rights and the unique challenges girls face around the world. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that this year's International Day of the Girl Child is themed on bridging the gender-digital divide in the society. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, "Amid the ongoing COVID pandemic, let's make every effort to ensure girls get equal access to digital devices, tech-related skills and jobs and equal chance to grow." As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Janotsav,
All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in morning news since 16th August and will continue till 15th August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Listeners can send their responses to the questions over WhatsApp on 88265 46262. Repeat, 88265 46262, or through email on amritmahotsav@prasarbharati.gov.in.
Let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
In today's episode, we celebrate the life and struggle of freedom fighter and towering political leader Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan, who was born on this day, 11th of October in 1902.
Popularly referred to as JP, he accepted the way of non-violence for social reconstruction such as Bhudan and Gramdan and used non-violent revolution during emergency period of 1975 to 1977 to bring about Sampoorn Kranti, that is, total revolution to save democratic values.
वोट ले ले और उसको हम कह दें कि बस ये जनता की हुकूमत बन गई, लोगों की आजादी न हो। इसको सिविल लिबर्टीज कहते हैं। शहरी आजादियां वो लोगों की न हो तो चाहे बेसिक डेमोक्रेसी कह लीजिए, पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी कह लीजिए, सोशल डेमोक्रेसी कह लीजिए, पीपुल्स डेमोक्रेसी, वो सब नाम है।
During the freedom movement, Jayaprakash Narayan did not strongly believe in the philosophy of non-violence. He accepted the violent way of revolution for freedom movement and established Azad Dasta, which was a group of revolutionaries for freedom movement.
He believed that the discussion on violence and non-violence is meaningless and both are good in the reference of freedom movement. However, later he became an ardent Gandhian and devoted his life to non-violent revolution for social reconstruction, which is called Sarvodaya movement. The works of Jayaprakash Narayan, which were based on Gandhian philosophy, prove that Gandhian philosophy remains relevant in the present context. We salute JP's undying spirit of love and dedication for the nation.
We also remember freedom fighter and captain in the Indian National Army, Abbas Ali, who left us on 11th October 2014. Abbas Ali was born in Khurja, Bulandshahr district of Uttar Pradesh on 3rd of January 1920.
He belonged to a family of freedom fighters and one of his grandfathers, Rustam Ali Khan, was hanged in Bulandshahr district in Uttar Pradesh after the First War of Indian Independence in 1857.
When Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh was hanged on 23rd March 1931, Abbas Ali was just 11-year-old, but he participated in a protest march. He joined Naujawan Bharat Sabha, the organization founded by Bhagat and his colleagues, and later, while studying at Aligarh Muslim University, he became member of the All India Students' Federation and joined the British Indian Army in 1939 with the motive of revolt.
In 1945, when Subhash Chandra Bose called for revolt, he left the British Army and joined the Azad Hind Fauj.
Later, he fought with the British Army in Arakan, now Rakhine state of Myanmar, but when the Japanese surrendered before the Allied forces, Abbas Ali was also arrested along with 60,000 fellow soldiers of INA. He was put in Multan fort along with 3 of his colleagues, tried, court-martialed and awarded the death sentence in 1946. However, when India gained independence in 1947, he was released and became politically active. Captain Abbas Ali died 7 years ago, but his spirit to serve the motherland will continue to inspire the future generations. We salute his love for the nation. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to Lok Nayak Jai Prakash Narayan on his Jayanti. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, Jai Prakash Narayan, an iconic revolutionary and social crusader, was one of the main architects of modern India. Mr. Naidu said he became a glowing symbol of India's fight against corruption and anti-democratic conduct. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Jai Prakash Narayan was a remarkable personality who left an indelible mark on India's history. Mr. Modi said he devoted himself to public welfare initiatives and was at the forefront of protecting India's democratic ethos. The Finance Ministry today released the 7th monthly installment of Post-Devolution Revenue Deficit PDRD grant of 9,871 crore rupees to the states. With the release of this installment, a total amount of 69,097 crore rupees has been released to states as PDRD in the current financial year. The grants are released as per the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission in monthly installments to meet the gap in revenue accounts of the states post-devolution. At the stock markets, both the key indices, the Sensex and the Nifty, opened higher in the morning and went on to hit another intra-day highs during the first half of the trade. So the Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange climbed 379 points or 0.6% to trade at 60,438 in the afternoon session at 1:40 p.m. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange advanced 135 points or 0.8% to 18,031.
Olympic sportsperson V. Subha was appointed as the sports official in Tamil Nadu Generation and Distribution Corporation Limited today. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin issued her the appointment order at the State Secretariat. Shubha Venkatesan took part in the Olympic 4x4 meters mixed relay held at Tokyo. In cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore will take on Kolkata Knight Riders in the eliminator this evening at Sharjah Cricket Stadium. The winner of this qualifier will take on Delhi Capitals on Wednesday at Sharjah.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. National capital Delhi is likely to have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be 36 degrees. Mumbai will have rain or thunder showers will occur towards evening or night. It recorded a minimum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be 34 degrees. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Lower limit of temperature was 26 degrees Celsius, while upper limit is expected to be nearly 34 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The city noted a minimum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be around 36 degrees. Srinagar will have thunderstorm with rain. Jammu will also have mainly clear sky. Leh will have mainly cloudy sky and the temperature will vary between 0 and 17 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Visakhapatnam will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India will play an important role in space to unite the world in 21st century, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Launches Indian Space Association. India marches towards 100 crore mark COVID-19 vaccination coverage. Over 95 crore citizens get jabs till date. In Himachal Pradesh, schools reopen from class 8 onwards today. India and Kyrgyz Republic agree on $200 million line of credit to support development projects. First ever talks between the US and Taliban leaders after change in guard in Afghanistan held in Doha. Washington says meeting does not amount to recognition of the Taliban. Today is International Day of the Girl Child. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for equal access to digital devices, tech-related skills and jobs for girls. And in IPL cricket, Royal challenges Bangalore to face Kolkata Knight Riders in Eliminator in Sharjah at 7:30 today. And with that, we end the midday news.